Thank you, Ambassador Dahl, and welcome all of you here to the Ministry. Good afternoon. Well, the fact that this report is biased, not professional, I would say it's a given. But I think it's important to note the ramifications or the implications on all what we're trying to achieve here, which is peaceful coexistence, peace with the Palestinians. Now, if indeed, and this is what's important to note, if indeed the Human Rights Council will take any action on this report, it really is turned into a terror rights council. And why? Because this report not only strips away, takes away the self-defense or the right for self-defense from democracies, it gives this defense or self-defense to the terrorists. Because as we speak now, the Hamas in Gaza is getting more munitions, more equipment, more terrorism plans, more fortifications, and is waiting to see the results in Geneva or in New York. And that could easily give Hamas and organizations like Hamas, whether it's Islamic Jihad, whether it's Al-Qaeda or any other terror organizations, the tools to really continually hitting on civilian targets, on democracies, with impunity basically, or without any recourse. This is something which has global effect, especially where the international community at this point is engaged in a very bitter struggle against extremists, against fanatics, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in Kashmir, whether it's in Iraq, or any other place around the globe. So this is something which concerns each and every country, certainly all democracies, certainly all decent countries with the rule of law. The second issue that it is very important also to note is the implications on any potential dialogue, political dialogue or peace process with the Palestinians. And I can tell you here that any action taken on this report, unfortunately, I think is going to be detrimental, has a detrimental effect on peace process, if not indeed giving it a mortal blow. And why is it? Well, first of all, if we are trying to engage with the Palestinians to achieve something good, we cannot be under constant attacks by the same Palestinians. And attacks today in these complex theaters or battles that we see today, attacks today can be done through grenades or bullets or through words. And sometimes words, and we know it from history, may be more dangerous than words. So the Palestinians, with all due respect, cannot hold the sticks in both hands. They cannot just try and dialogue with us and talk about peaceful coexistence and peace and a two-state solution, and on the other hand, keep attacking us. And whether attacking us militarily, economically, or politically, today there is no difference. And today the attacks on international fora, whether it's New York or Geneva or anywhere else, is just as bad in terms of media, PR, everything ties together to a campaign of trying to delegitimize Israel and to actually further try to paint it into a corner and maybe make more pressure. This will not work. But there is another implication here is, how this government of Israel or how any future government of Israel can have any flexibility in the future to make concessions to the Palestinians and take further risks. We have been taking enormous risks in the pullout of Gaza, in actually what's happening in the West Bank when we removed more than 2/3 of checkpoints and roadblocks and trying to really push the Palestinian economy forward. And if with all these risks there is no reciprocity from the Palestinian side, but further attacks, however diplomatic or any others, I don't think there will be any basis here for continuing any dialogue with the Palestinians. And this is something which is very, very important to realize, because what we're trying to engage with the Palestinians is difficult enough, is complex enough, is emotion-laden enough, problematic enough to add to this a real blow to any basis of trust that we're trying to build with the Palestinians. And without any trust, whether it's in the political level, whether it's in the operational level, and it is also very important to note that in order to move, in order to create a Palestinian state, which I would say now most of Israelis believe in, you need to have not only the trust of the leaders, trust of the public, but also the cooperation between the professionals, whether it's military or otherwise, on both sides. This now is non-existent. And certainly if the Palestinians, Palestinian Authority people, Fatah people, who were the ones who were actually pushing us to do away with Hamas, now are trying to push us and take us into this international courts and the whole things that come up with that. So this is something which I want to emphasize is going to be very detrimental to any possibility of a dialogue and a peaceful peace process with the Palestinians. Not to mention the fact that the ones who are, and I want to emphasize that, who are benefiting from this report are the extremists. Everywhere, anywhere, and especially in Gaza, which are very much backed by Iran. Unfortunately, there was no action taken for long 8 years, where more than 1 million civil population, Israelis on our southern borders, were under terror on a daily basis from the attacks of Hamas. There was no any action taken against crimes against humanity by Hamas, which not only targets populations and only civil populations, but they're also hiding behind civil populations. A double crime here. Not only there was no actions then, there was no actions about other misdeeds of human rights all over the world. Ambassador Gal mentioned that, why we didn't have any faith in the process, why we do not indeed have any faith if you look at the composition and you look at the mandate of this report and the composition of the Council of Human Rights. So what we want to convey from this podium today is, we cannot change the past. This genie of this report is out. We understand that it cannot be put back into the bottle, but it is incumbent upon the international community it is incumbent upon the responsible member states to do away with this report, not to take any actions as the Palestinians want, which is again contrary to what they say, prima facie, as moving forward on the peace process. You cannot do it. And this is why the call from here, and this is what we have conveyed and we will continue to convey to capitals, friendly capitals around the globe, is keep this report, do away with it, and because it does a disservice, not just to morality, not just to the issue of human rights. It really diminishes and abuses the very lofty idea of watching human rights. It's giving rights to the terrorists, but, and this is the political message, it will have a real detrimental effect on the peace process. And this is the main message today. Thank you very much. And now we will have the very distinguished legal advisor of the Foreign Ministry, Mr.